As we've seen in the previous section, OB FGKM, the stellar surface temperature sequence.
We can summarize all this data in another type of HR diagram showing star types and their sizes.
Notice on the right-hand side, we have a red line drawn that shows that the surface temperature of a main sequence star like the Sun, or dwarfs, or giants, or supergiants could all have the same surface temperature. So we needed to invent another subsystem to help us distinguish between giants, main sequence, and white dwarfs.
Welcome, you are now an official amateur astronomer. Give yourself a pat on the back. This is how astronomers talk. Aldebaran, which is a K53 star, tells us what? Tinker, 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 tinker. Knowing that Aldebaran is a K53 star tells us that it is a red giant with a luminosity of about 370 times the solar luminosity and a surface temperature of about 4,400 degrees Kelvin and an absolute magnitude of 0.87.
The HR diagram is not just an abstract construction. It has vast practical applications. We will show one example involving just the concept of stellar age. Here we see an image of the star cluster known as NGC 2264. The young star cluster NGC 2264 is in the constellation Monoceros, which means the unicorn. These young stars are 2,600 light years away. How can astronomy pontificate on such a notion that a group of stars may be young or old? The discovery of the relationship between stellar luminosities and surface temperature allows us to use the HR diagram in a real way. So, for example, a PhD candidate may be given the task to map the actual spectral emission data from a group of stars and see where they fall on the HR diagram in relation to the main sequence. When the thesis is completed, a real stellar luminosity map emerges, showing that most of its cool, low-mass stars have not yet arrived at the main sequence phase of life. The intersecting blue lines show the position of our low-mass G2V star. The final step to understanding how stars work is their mass. How much matter do stars have? Like mentioned in the previous slide, star masses are determined by observing the motion of two stars in a binary system.
So in this module we learned about apparent magnitude, absolute magnitude, the inverse square law, the concept of luminosity, the surface temperature of stars, sequence, the H.R. Russell diagrams, and a little bit about star types.